Got any word on a guru? Where?
Let's see. Commonly referred to as oud, it's a fragrant, dark, and resinous wood used in incense perfume, small hand carvings. It forms in the heartwood of Aquilaria trees after they become infected with a type of mold.
Interesting, huh?
Yeah.
The tree defensively secretes a resin to combat the fungal infestation. Prior to becoming infected, the heartwood mostly lacks scent and is relatively light and pale in coloration. However, as the infection advances and the tree produces its fragrant resin as a final option of defense.
Very interesting. It's kind of like the pearl. It's kind of, the pearl develops because some outside ingredient gets in there, right? A little piece of sand gets inside the oyster. And then from that little sand, which is like kind of like an irritant in there, it's an irritant. Here, there's a fungus, coming in.
That's a fascinating world we live in, isn't it?
Certainly.
This is like National Geographic today. Okay.
But it just shows sometimes the best things grow out of some kind of irritant, some kind of foreign agent that becomes an irritant.
Yeah.
A lot of the events in our life seem like outside irritants that enter into our life, but they can be turned into the most beautiful, fragrant aspects of our life.
Sometimes I'm an irritant to you.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
And you're turning out pretty good.
You become one of the most fragrant, beautiful parts of my life.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from beautiful Maharashtra in India. I have to go over it on Eco Village.
Yes.
This is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily spiritual podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York City, Kaustubha Das. Welcome to the show. It's episode 1518, and today is January 15, 2025, and it's Walk On Wednesday. It's Wednesday, everybody. That's one day that we bring somebody interesting, doing interesting things, have an interesting life, pull them on our show, pick their brain for 10 minutes, and we meet one of our peeps. But before we do that, Miss Mara, how are you? Do you have any announcements?
Here's that mic.
Yeah, well, stick your sweet little face over here, dear.
All right. Bhakti Recovery Group meeting in Philadelphia tonight at the Bhakti Garden at 7 p.m. and also online if you're not in the Philly area. And no show tomorrow, but we'll be back on Friday morning at 6 a.m. Eastern time.
Okay.
And we just dropped that. We were live streaming this morning's satsang, which would have been last night on the Sage Community platform also.
Okay.
It's downloading. But
So
Dropping.
tonight at
not
what
dropping.
time their time?
7 p.m. Eastern.
7 p.m. Eastern time. Oh. What about?
We live streamed the satsang.
And it's going to drop.
It'll drop once it's uploaded.
Okay. Tonight, 7 p.m.
No, as soon as it drops, it drops.
You don't know when things drop?
We'll just have trouble uploading it.
Okay. Oh, I got it. So that's not live, or it is live?
It was live.
It is live. It was live.
Not live anymore.
Okay. All right. And tomorrow we have a day off, peeps, right?
Yes.
We are going to Elephanta. That's where we go to this charming little island. And it's off of Mumbai. So we take a day. I announced it yesterday. It's a day of, spiritual tourism.
Okay.
Of, a little good old American consumption. We'll go to, shopping. People want to go to Starbucks. Who knows where they want to go?
Okay.
We'll go to the temple. Go to the temple in Chowpatty. We'll go to the restaurant in Chowpatty. But they have these incredible caves built in. It was discovered by the Portuguese. They were like, oh, there's this island off of Mumbai, this incredible port. Let's check it out. When they went there, they found these giant basalt carvings of, I'm no tourist, really. I'm not crazy about tourism, but these things are impressive, and it's a fun little boat ride.
You are a tourist when you go there,
Yeah.
You may not like to.
I like it. It started as spiritual tourism.
Okay.
We take a ferry. So if you're from Scandinavia and you're taking a ferry from like Germany to Sweden, it's nothing like that at all. It is a boat that may or may not make it to the island. And we have kirtan the entire time. And the kirtan protects us from the ship going down. That's how I feel.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a fun little adventure we have. Kirtan on the bus. Give Kaustubha a day to chill, and a day for me to go hyper. All right. Anything else you want to say before we bring on Road Rage?
It's road rage. I just saw him pop up.
All right, he just came up. Hey, Road Rage, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Haribol, can you hear me?
Haribol, yes, we hear you, and you look beautiful today. How are you? I like your hair, I like your camera, I like your chatter. You're looking good. If you don't know, he's a long-term listener, long-term Zoomer. Since we've become friends, our families have become quite friends. We've been going to Croatia and hanging with their family. It's been really nice. Yeah, our kids love you guys and love your family and your wonderful wife
The
and
feeling
kids.
is 100% mutual.
I
No.
feel the same. He's initiated
Absolutely.
disciple, and he is expert. He's been on the show before because he's expert at videography and film, etc. But he had a little passion project that we didn't know about. He sort of surprised us with it, and he made a Wisdom of the Sages app. Can you share a little bit about this app that you just unveiled and how we can get it? And what first explain what it's about.
Well, I mean, I'm such a huge fan of the show, of you, Raghunath, Kaustubha, everybody, Mara. And I really loved the Q&A sessions that you are hosting and the way you are answering the questions. I was like, I mean, I've been studying Vedic scriptures for 25 years now, but the explanations that you give are so relatable and, you know, it's just an amazing viewport on a lot of the questions that were asked. And I was wondering, you know, once I remember you gave such a wonderful question about family life and things like that. And I was like, who knows when that was, how to find that question. You have to scroll through the episodes. It's very difficult. And I felt this is such a treasure trove, you know, information and, you know, something that would be really nice if it would be easily accessible. And that's how I got this idea. You know, I want to try to solve this problem as a small offering to, you know, Wisdom of the Sages project and the community and you know, just make this more accessible. So I started developing this up in my head. How can you just jump to certain questions? How can you make questions into category, you know, like chanting, and then just have all the questions that were asked about chanting pop up? And that's how we started.
Now, how does that come up? That comes up in you read it, or it's in a video form.
So so I can just like have a little run through of the app because a lot of people are listening. So I'm not gonna show it, but app is downloadable in Android, Google Play, and also App Store for iOS users. So you just type in VOTS podcast. So Wisdom of the Sages podcast.
Yeah, no, WOTS.
Sorry, W. Yeah, W.
WOTS.
Yeah, podcast, and it will pop up. You download it. You can log in because then it will remember, you know, the shows you watched and things like that. So you can log in.
Right.
Information is not shared. It's completely you know.
Are you data mining? Are you grabbing all our data from this? What's the catch?
You know, I'm just mining Bitcoin. I'm not mining data. So once you go in there, you have all the shows, and it's actually played from YouTube directly into the app. So you're also getting the views for YouTube. The YouTube channel is not, you know, out of the loop in that sense. When you watch it on the app, the views are still there. But the cool thing about it is that if you go under questions and answers, you'll have videos of all the questions that were ever asked. And you just click on that video and it immediately starts playing from that second where that question is asked. And what I really also love is that questions have categories. So you can click Bhakti practice. All the questions that are related to Bhakti practice are shown, or chanting, death, guru, even Kaustubha and Raghunath. So if you press Raghunath, all the questions that were asked about Raghunath will show up, and you can just click and watch them. Beyond this, you can even search with a word. So for example, you're having some doubts about something, or altar worshiping. If you type in altar worshiping, all the episodes that have in their description are either the name or the description that Mera puts in YouTube that mention, altar or worshiping will pop up. So like this, you can really go through the questions that were asked and, find whatever it is that you're interested in.
Do the new episodes just automatically slip right into it?
Yeah. I mean, it's not automatic. It's, manual
You gotta
labor,
manually do it. Okay.
but it's from love. So all the episodes I upload into the app when Mera uploads them on the YouTube, and all the Q&As are, gone through and cut out with the new questions. So everything is up to date. Everything is, there. Also, episodes are there, all the episodes. So you can also just press questions and answers. So all the Q&A episodes will be there. Interviews, if you select interviews, all the episodes that were, interviews from somebody will pop up. And if you watch an episode, you can continue watching from that point. And you can also select all the episodes you didn't watch. So if you want to go through all the episodes, once you start watching an episode, it's marked watched. So when you press unwatched, it will just show all the episodes that are unwatched. So it's kind of like a nice way to access all the episodes and all the nectar, because there's so many episodes and all of them are amazing. And in this way, you can kind of like go through them in an intuitive way.
This is
so
amazing.
amazing.
I'm so grateful.
You're very kind to us, Maturanandaji.
Yeah, Prabhu.
No, you are very kind to the whole community and to everybody
you.
for giving this, and making it.
I'm not that kind.
We're not
Get
kind
to
at
know
all.
me better.
Haven't you been listening to the show?
But that is a labor of love. I really appreciate that, and how useful as well. How when you're sitting and just struggling, or like, that was a good answer. When was that? And boom. Okay, I'm downloading now.
Yeah, for me, it was like Nick Cave. I remember I'm a huge Nick Cave fan. I really loved his songs and everything. And I remember in one episode, there was Nick Cave, something as a nugget.
Oh, yeah, we had a Nick Cave.
And like, where was that? And, if you just type in Nick Cave, poof, it pops out. And
now, wait a second. So did you have to listen to every episode, or do you just go from the hashtags or the keywords that Mara puts on YouTube?
I put in the descriptions that Mara puts in the YouTube. For the descriptions, but for the Q&As, I had to go through every episode of the Q&A and
oh my God,
see where the question was asked. Mark the second.
Does it take you right to that question, like 22 minutes?
Right to that question.
It's a lot of work, man.
I mean, I have to say, I did have some help, especially in the beginning. So I would like to thank everybody who contributed. Also, there was some assistance with paying the developers. So, I don't want to name names out of fear that I'll omit somebody. But, everybody
so
who
you just
contributed.
omit everybody.
So omit everybody.
So I'll omit.
Give nobody any credit.
I do want to thank Taradas and Chris Patterson and Belko Popovic, my brother, and then Alman and Gracie Young. And I mean, they were just,
no idea. It's like a surprise party.
Yeah, they helped along the way. It's been a long journey, like a year and a half. But it's been so fun and so rewarding. So yeah.
All right, so they have to look up on the App Store WOTS. Is that if they look up Wisdom of the Sages, will that come up?
I don't know, maybe. I mean, it's shorter to write.
We can put it in the description as well. We put it in the description that people can.
Yeah, I did put. Yeah, I did put. I wanted to call it What's Up.
I was thinking about that. WhatsApp.
And there come the lawsuits, the cease and desist letters.
It kept forcing WhatsApp. It was like, did you mean WhatsApp? And it didn't show the app. It just showed WhatsApp. I was like, damn you. So I had to change it.
WOTS, Wisdom of the Sages app. WhatsApp.
Yeah. That was pretty clever too. Anyway, Prabhu, thank you so much. I can't express enough gratitude. And you helped me so much when my book came out. You make those little collage reels for me. You guys are incredible. Love you and your brother. I'm looking forward to seeing you this year.
Award-winning team.
I know. It's amazing. They're amazing. We went to their film festival in Croatia last year.
before I go, I just want to say if somebody wants to help a little bit with the app, they can contact me. There's not like a huge amounts of work, but just like updating the episodes regularly. Sometimes I might not be able to do because I'm traveling or anything like that. So it would be nice to have like one or two persons who know how to do it.
Sure.
You don't have to be a computer genius or anything like that. But if somebody wants to jump in on that as well, they can contact me.
Okay.
Yeah.
At roadrage.com.
Okay. Yeah. What's your?
Yeah.
How do they reach you?
I can ask Mara to put in the description of the episode my email if that's not asking too much.
Sure.
Or
email wisdom of the sages 108 at
That's the easiest
gmail.com.
thing. Yeah.
And also, should we review it? If we download it and we like it, we should review it on right, the app store.
It would be
Does it
nice.
work?
I'm not just to make it more accessible. If somebody's searching like podcast something, then this might come up and they might download it and get familiar with the podcast and everything. In that sense, that's always
download it. Valuable stuff. Thank you, Prabhu. We're so grateful for you. I'm happy you're in my life. So glad we made this connection.
So
we sort of like, you were a hardcore guy, but we never really met each other, if I don't remember anyway. But I feel like the podcast brought us together, brought our kids together. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you, Matteo.
Thank you.
Oh, sweet guy. That was so nice. Hours and hours of
a lot of work,
labor,
a lot of devotion.
But it's also probably purifying to go through episodes and hearing Q&A and hearing the Bhagavatam. Like it's a purifying practice.
Sure. All right, you ready?
Yeah. Narayanam namaskrityananam chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayat. Before he started the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supremest human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayesha bhadreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated, and loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Agyanat Timarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmadatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance. My teachers are opening my eyes, the torch of knowledge. I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 21. And we're in text 1. The title of the chapter is a new chapter. Bali Maharaj, arrested by the Lord.
Arrested.
Well,
that must be some old use of it too, right? He was arrested.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't think he put cuffs on Bali Maharaj.
Well, he did
hands
tie him up.
Feet back and spread them.
He did tie him up though. Or he's about to. We'll see.
Maybe he did arrest him.
He got arrested in a sense.
Okay, interesting. He just gave away everything, but the Lord took everything with 2 steps.
And he was supposed to give 3.
He was supposed to give 3 steps. So now he's in a predicament. He's from a great dharmic king family of kings who are very noble. Their word, right?
Their word.
Even in the old days in America, if you like broke your word, it'd be like, how dare you take off my gloves, slap you across the face. Like your word meant something.
Yeah.
Now people just lie.
All the time.
It's culture of lying.
Yeah.
So anyway, gave his word. And I said, yeah, you want 3 steps of land? Take 3 steps of land. With 2 steps, he took the entire universe. And now he's about to call him out. You owe me a 3rd step.
Yeah.
What you going to do about that? Are you a liar? So here's what the narrator, Sukadeva Goswami, said. When Lord Brahma, who was born of a lotus flower, saw that the effulgence of his residence, Brahmaloka, had been reduced by the glaring effulgence from the toenails of the Lord Vamanadeva, he approached the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Brahma was accompanied by all the great sages, headed by Marichi, and by yogis like Sanandana. But in the presence of that glaring effulgence, O king, even Lord Brahma and his associates seemed insignificant.
That was a long verse.
It's a long verse.
I bet you the meters changed,
Oh yeah. Satyam samikya bhavana kadam dilbe hatta swadam dyutirato vibhavyagat marichi mishra rasayo brihad vrata sanandana nadaya naradeva yogina.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Not
I
quite.
start talking a
That's a
little
good try.
nasally. It's like, oh, Raghunath knows Sanskrit. He's definitely knows Sanskrit. I'm like, huh.
But this is like sometimes even in the Bhagavad Gita we see that the meter shifts when the message shifts or the story shifts.
Pravidyamam soma paputa papa yagya ista sarakatam sarakalate. Mahendra, right?
I wasn't thinking of that, but
Yeah.
okay. So now we left off that with that second step, Lord Vishnu's foot, right? It just went all the way up to the top of the universe. And it's saying, I mean, I know it sounds weird, but that foot was effulgent. Like the toenails of the foot were just like they were just radiating some kind of beauty. And it's like, and now we're up in the upper planetary systems. This is where I believe Bali's reign didn't affect. This is the areas, it was from Indra's regions down that I think Bali took over. I don't think anybody ever gets up to Satyaloka and all of that.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so his foot went way up to the very top. And then Brahma sees it and all the sages like Marichi and others. And they're like, look at this. That's Lord Vishnu's foot. That's his foot. And they're all like, okay. They kicked into gear. They understand this is Lord Vishnu. This is the origin of everything. This is the beautiful, stunning, the Lord of our heart. And that's his foot. This is great. It's beautiful. And they're all going to now they're all scrambling like, let's go offer our respects to the Lord's foot. Right?
All right. So this is text 2 and 3. Among the great personalities who came to worship the lotus feet of the Lord were those who had attained perfection in self-control, in regulative principles, as well as experts in logic, history, general education, and Vedic literature, known as kalpe, or dealing with old historical incidents.
So this
Isn't
is
it interesting? There's like old historical incidents.
There.
Very
old.
This is ancient.
Yeah.
And they're talking about history there.
And this is describing the people that live in that region, right? The region above Indra. These are like the most refined, highly elevated people in the entire universe. They're up there. They're all expert theologians, philosophers, incredibly detached yogis. They're all these unique characters up there.
Sure. I mean, you can go to different places where they have all different, even in this world. Yesterday we were talking about mountain people, and they have a vantage point that's different than everybody else. They eat a certain type. What do they call them? Blue zones, where people live very healthy, have an incredibly refined diet. Then you got these places that are like drinking the blood out of the cow's neck. Ever see these places? It's crazy.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, there's all different cultures doing all different things. We are in high planets here. These people are. It's like next level, thoughtful scholars,
meditators,
mystics, meditators.
Yeah. Okay.
If they could only see what the yoga systems devolved into. Like what?
That's why they're up there. They're like, we don't want to have anything to do with it.
Vinyas flow, dropping back to wheel. What are they talking about? Like, what are they?
Okay. Others were experts.
Others were expert in Vedic corollaries like the Brahma Samhita.
Okay.
All the other knowledge of the Vedas, Sama, Yajur, Rig, and Atharva, those are the 4 Vedas, and also the supplementary Vedic knowledge, Ayurveda, Dhanurveda, etc. Dhanurveda is the warfare. What's interesting about the Dhanurveda?
Tell me.
Dhanurveda is, it's like sort of like a military handbook, but it's got a twist of mysticism. So it has all these very because I've read this somewhere in like Wikipedia or something like describing
or
like
remind a decoded Instagram.
perhaps. But it had all these things about the Dhanurveda. It talks about like how to fight hand-to-hand combat, how to fight with weapons, how to fight with weapons that you propel out of like one of those
slingshot
type of things, spears, javelins, fighting on elephants. And then the 4th verse is, then it's interesting. Then they talk about all these very practical things like an army back then would use. But then they have like this whole strange chapter, and they say, well, the end of the book it's more like fictitious. It's all fictitious. They talk about fighting with sound and they fight with like the mantras of weapons. And it's like
Sure, they just got fictitious all of
they
a
just
sudden.
got all of a sudden they're like, you know what? Let's make our standard military handbook have the Grimm brothers fairy tales in the back on the
You're right.
final chapter. But yeah, they talk about fighting with sound and astras and divine weapons.
Right. Yeah, you know, the nuclear weapons of today would have sounded fictitious. You go back a few centuries. Oh, someone's going to create a bomb that can blow up whole cities,
Sure.
right?
Yeah, even a Gatling gun sounded pretty
Yeah,
fantastic at
sure.
one point
Yeah.
in history.
Oh, yeah, it's going to shoot millions of bullets out of nowhere.
Right out all of a sudden at
Yeah,
once.
Yeah. All right. Others, but we did that. Ayurveda, Dhanurveda.
Others were those who had been freed of the reactions to fruitive activities by transcendental knowledge, awakened by practice of yoga.
Jnana yogis.
Right? And still others were those who had attained residence in Brahmaloka, not by ordinary karma, but by advanced Vedic knowledge.
Okay, so it's not like you might get up to Indra's planet by advanced karma, but this is beyond that.
This is beyond. Pretty interesting. Like, who are these people in these like penthouses of planets?
You know, if you really want to, the amazing book to read about this is the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, where it takes this one character, Gop Kumar, and he goes up to the planets of Indra, then he goes beyond, he goes up to Satyaloka, he's going up, you know, to Brahmaloka, Satyaloka, Tapaloka. He just keeps going higher, and he meets all the people there, and you see how they're engaged and how they see the world and how they relate to him and what they offer him, and it's fascinating. It's all really fascinating stuff.
I believe it. I believe it without seeing it, because I remember first coming to India, many times coming to India, and Radhanath Swami would always just be like, Raghunath, I want you to meet this person. A car will come pick you up, you know. And I was like, what is he talking about? He goes, just wait in front gate. All of a sudden, like, whatever, a Mercedes stretch limo pulls up. Are you Mr. Raghunath? I was like, well, yes, I am. And you got to understand, I'm a dirtbag punk rocker from the Lower East Side of New York City. I'm getting into a long Mercedes stretch limousine, brings me to this, you know, it was Srinathji's house.
Oh, yeah.
He was one of the big supporters of this project. He's incredibly educated, very beautiful, very
I
refined.
think his father was a parliament member.
Yeah, it was like
He
it's one of these guys that's just like so out of my league materially. And I was like, I have to eat lunch here. It's embarrassing. I can't even tie my shirt right. I'm wrinkled. I'm unshaven. I spill things when I eat. And it was just like, I understand. There are refined, educated people. And they're not, he had whatever, a doctorate from UPenn, I think, but he was also like refined in Vedic knowledge. It's like they're just next level people in a whole different stratosphere than me.
Yeah.
So I can understand how that could exist on other planets. Planets where it's almost like you want to get into a college, you got to qualify. You want to get into IIT, MIT, RIT, anything with a T, you got to qualify to get into that T. You don't just show up there like me. You got to become qualified. These people study their whole life to get into these universities. I could understand. You can't just barge your way into these higher planets.
You definitely
You got to become qualified. And that's the yoga process. You become almost otherworldly. And we've met people like who've just given their life to spirit, or they're coming even in to a spiritual practice. You could tell like they had a spiritual practice in a previous life. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
Okay.
This stuff's real. After devoutly worshiping the upraised lotus feet of the Supreme Lord with the oblations of water, Lord Brahma, who was born of the lotus emanating from the Lord Vishnu's navel, offered prayers to the Lord. O king, the water from Lord Brahma's Kamandalu, that's his little water pot he carries, washed the lotus feet of Lord Vamanadeva, who is known as Urukram, the wonderful actor. Thus, that water became so pure that it was transformed into the water of the Ganges. So it's the water bathing the feet of Lord Vamanadeva from Brahma. Wonder why 400 million people are bathing in the Ganga?
Yeah, Kumbh Mela.
Kumbh Mela. It's because it's water emanating from the lotus.
But here's
the
the question. I thought earlier in the Bhagavatam it said that his foot pierced the universe and the
There's
water
different
from
ways you could
outside.
look at it. You know, there's
Okay.
different like tributaries. Maybe this was one of the tributaries of that.
Actually, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments on it.
Does he say that what I just
Is
said? Am I
in a
thinking
sense, you're,
like Vishwanath Chakravarti
something like
Thakur?
that. He says there's three. It's actually three ways to look at three. It's a blend of three.
Okay.
In
And
one
one
sense,
of my ways was right.
well, I think your way was right enough. Yeah, yeah. He said
Okay.
that. He said that it's the water. His foot did pierce it, and water did come from outside.
Okay, so that means there was water floating in a heavenly region.
That
Came from there.
The universe is a bubble floating in the water, and he cracked it open, and that water is the Ganges water. Then he said, "There's also this, where
Also this,
the
washing the
water from
feet.
Brahma." And then he said also that the water itself is like a liquid form of Lord Narayan. So all three combine to be what we call the Ganga now.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. All right, keep
What
reading.
was that last one you said?
It's Lord Narayan like liquid in a liquid form.
Okay.
Okay. Tim,
Okay.
you read that?
I read that.
Yeah, but you haven't finished this. Thus the
Okay.
water.
Thus, the water was so pure that it was transformed into the water of the Ganges, which went flowing down from the sky, purifying the three worlds like the pure fame of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So it's landing on all these planets as well. They're all getting the benefit of this action.
That's all there in the fourth canto. How was it? Fifth canto. It comes all the way. Fifth canto. It comes all the way. You follow the course of the Ganges from the top of the universe down to the bottom.
Landing on the earth, exiting the earth, it stays together. Mara, what's the quote? We chant this mantra all the time. It never separates once it enters into the Sagara, into the sea. It stays together.
Stays together.
Stays together, and then it descends to the lower planets. It purifies the lower planets. Imagine if you're in a hellish planet and you're like, this sucks. But wait,
And
what's
down the
that?
water.
There's the Ganges.
Get some of that water.
Get to the Ganges.
Okay.
Maybe that's what we are right now. We're in the material world. We're like, get to the Ganges.
Well, if you want to run to Kumbh Mela, you can.
They just posted this thing in the New York Times about Kumbh Mela.
Yeah.
On Instagram, my absolute news source. And some people's like nasty comments in it. It's just like, oh, the water's so dirty. I was like, you don't understand, people. It cannot be, you can't make this water dirty. I mean, you can try. You can make it, you could throw extra stuff in the water. But that water from the Ganges is so pure. You can't mess with it. It's coming from the lotus feet of Vishnu.
It's there. That power is there.
Yeah, the power's going to always be there. But trust me when I say this, 30 years from now, that river's going to be completely cleaned up.
Okay.
Serious.
All right.
I'm serious. It's going to, and rivers, this
Okay.
happened to the Hudson River. Rivers just clean themselves once you stop throwing all the garbage in.
All right.
So materially speaking, it'll be clean. It's always purely spiritual.
All right.
We bathe in it every year,
Okay.
right?
I bathe in it every day when I'm there. I bathe in it many times in a year.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. Bathe in it twice every day.
Trying to one-up me with your bath.
Okay, let's read a verse, Raghu.
Lord Brahma and all the predominating deities of the various planetary systems began to worship Lord Vamanadeva, their supreme master, who had reduced himself from his all-pervading form to his little original form. They collected all the ingredients and paraphernalia for his worship. They worshiped the Lord by offering fragrant flowers, water, padya, and arghya. So padya is the water for the feet. Arghya is the mouthwash.
I think it's like it's a water that has spices in it.
Yeah, you rinse your mouth with. Sandalwood pulp.
A guru.
No.
This one, and a guru.
Oh, and a guru pulp.
Yeah.
Sorry. I thought you said sandalwood was. Yeah, so the sandalwood pulp is like this. It's a special tree that grows in the jungle and the swamps, I think. I want to Google that. I'm curious.
The
Sandalwood.
Malaya Hills.
The Malaya Hills. They take a piece of that branch, put it on a stone, add either water with saffron, sometimes water with camphor, and they grind it. You were just mentioning this yesterday.
Yeah.
They were grinding huge amounts of it. Becomes a
aroma.
paste, and they dip a flower in it, and they put it on the forehead of the deity, and it acts as a very cooling effect in the tropical weather. Mara says,
Sandalwood. The woods are heavy, yellow, and fine-grained, and unlike many other aromatic woods, they retain their fragrance for decades. Sandalwood is often cited as one of the most expensive woods in the world. Both
Yeah.
the wood and the oil produce a distinctive fragrance that has been highly valued for centuries.
I think there's strict government regulations around
Sandalwood.
sandalwood.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of these species, because they're slow growing, they've also suffered overharvesting.
Yes,
Mm,
you see.
makes me feel guilty for using it.
Okay.
Sandalwood. And then, of course, my favorite. This is a hard one to get. Look up a guru.
Guru.
A guru. Where are we?
Right here.
A guru pulp. A guru is the same as oud.
Okay.
I think
Clear that up.
interesting. Well, you know what? I think this stuff's interesting, Prabhu.
I'm not saying it's not, but
It
I'm just
is.
saying when you say there's oud. Oh, okay.
Oh, ooh, now I get it. All right, so he offers incense lamps, fused rice, don't know what that is,
Fused.
unbroken grains, fruits, roots, sprouts. While so doing, they offered prayers indicating the glorious activities of the Lord and shouted, Jai! Jai! They also danced, played instruments, sang, sounded conch shells, and beat kettle drums. And in this way, they were worshiping the Lord.
So they went right into it. They just knew exactly what to do.
Mm.
It's like, just like, he showed up as a guest and they're like, oh, let's welcome him as a guest. And they just broke out everything.
Got any word on a guru? Where?
Let's see. Commonly referred to as oud, it's a fragrant, dark, and resinous wood used in incense perfume, small hand carvings. It forms in the heartwood of Aquilaria trees after they become infected with a type of mold.
Interesting, huh?
Yeah.
The tree defensively secretes a resin to combat the fungal infestation. Prior to becoming infected, the heartwood mostly lacks scent and is relatively light and pale in coloration. However, as the infection advances and the tree produces its fragrant resin as a final option of defense.
Very interesting. It's kind of like the pearl. It's kind of, the pearl develops because some outside ingredient gets in there,
Gets
right?
in.
A little piece of sand gets inside the oyster. And then from that little sand, which is like kind of like an irritant in there, it's an irritant. Here, there's a fungus, like coming in.
That's a
chicken industry.
fascinating world we live in, isn't it?
Certainly.
This is like National Geographic today. Okay.
But it just shows sometimes the best things grow out of some kind of irritant, some kind of foreign agent that becomes an irritant.
Yeah.
A lot of the events in our life seem like outside irritants that enter into our life, but they can be turned into the most beautiful, fragrant aspects of our life.
Sometimes I'm an irritant to you.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
And you're turning out pretty good.
You become one of the most fragrant, beautiful parts of my life.
Oh, sweet. John Bavon, the king of the bears. What? You heard me. The king of the bears.
Does that mean he's a bear himself?
Here's what I'm thinking.
I'm not sure if I want to know what you're thinking.
I'm thinking
how
they're
far
not
is your imagination
actual
going?
bears. And I'd like to see the Sanskrit for this.
All right.
The monkey, what we call monkeys, the Hanumans, they're Vanaras, which are not monkeys at all. They're sort of like mystical, big, hairy, Wookiee type beings.
He's the rickshaw Raj.
Riksaraj or rickshaw. I don't
Yeah.
think a rickshaw is a bear. But what do I know? Riksharaj.
Blessers of Stars.
Anyway.
The Lord of the Bears.
Lord of the Bears.
Oh, King of the Bears.
King of the Bears.
King of the Bears.
King of the Bears.
King of the Bears. King of the Bears.
King of the Bears. King of the Bears. Okay, that's all we get from that? That's all the translation we have for
Here in the Veda
Riksharaj?
Yeah.
Anyway, there is a king of bears. His name is John Bavon. And it must be some species of humanoid, furry, hibernating creatures.
Bigfoot.
And John Bavon, of course, he had some issues with Lord Krishna. This is when it came in the Krishna book.
Shamataka jewel.
The Shamataka
episode.
jewel. He took the jewel and he gave it to his
daughter. His daughter married Krishna, right?
Jambavati,
Jambavati,
who was a
yeah.
human daughter, though. Krishna did not marry a bear girl. Bear girl. Well, that's what it sounds like. Prabhupada mentions that.
Well, are
not
you
a bear.
But are we sure that he's a bear?
I'm not sure. I think
see.
he's some type of bear.
If he had a
being.
human daughter, there's a good chance that he was not a bear. I'd say at least 50-50.
Well, no, he's included. I think the bears and the monkeys. I think there's like they're hand in hand species that go together like dogs and cats.
Okay. Anyway, let's continue.
Okay, let's continue, and
Jump
sometime
on,
we'll
King of the
crack the
Bears.
code of the bear people.
Read it. Go ahead to hear the whole verse.
Jambavon, king of the bears, also joined the ceremony sounding his bugle. So he's a bear that could play a bugle.
It's another
know, and-
indication he could be human.
Well, why is he king of the bears? Oh, you're saying he's a human,
human
king,
king.
and all his followers are bears?
Yes.
I find that hard to believe.
You find it more easy to believe that he's
He's
a talking bear that
a
plays
talking
a
bear
bugle.
that plays it. Occasionally plays a trumpet.
Okay, what did he do? Get through this verse.
Um,
He declared a great festival.
he declared a great festival for Lord Vamanadeva's victory. When the demoniac followers of Maharaj Bali saw that their master, who had been determined in performing sacrifice, had lost all his possessions to Vamanadeva, who had taken them away on the plea of begging for 3 paces of land, they were very angry and spoke as follows.
Okay, pause. So we're talking yesterday about how Bali felt that, saw the form of the Lord, the seed of bhakti in his heart, expanded.
Mhm.
He's feeling bliss and prema, and he's not feeling I lost something here. He was beyond territorial thought, but all his demon followers aren't there.
They're not there. They're not as evolved
Even
as
though
him.
even
Are you
though they
crazy?
just witnessed this, they're thinking like Duryodhana was thinking, I suppose, right? Oh, he's got some kind of magic or something like that. He's got some mystic power. Different kind of beings have mystic power. You got
Sure.
you got rakshasas, they can do things, and that's what he's doing. He's doing something like that. They just can't understand who he is, and so they're like, hold it. Our leader just went down. He just got all sentimental. He got confused. But we can't let ourselves lose our territory. We got to fight for that territory. So they're gonna try to fight for it. They spoke as
10.
follows.
This Vamana is certainly not a Brahmin, but the best of the cheaters. Lord Vishnu, assuming the form of a Brahmin, he has covered his own form and as thus is working in the interest of the demigods,
Our enemies.
our enemies. Our Lord Bali Maharaj, our Lord Bali Maharaj, because of his position in performing the yajna, has given up the power to punish. Taking advantage of this, our eternal enemy, Lord Vishnu, dressed in the form of a brahmachari beggar, has taken away all his possessions.
Been tricked.
Our Lord Bali Maharaj is always fixed in truthfulness, and this is especially so at present, since he has been initiated into performing a sacrifice. He is always kind and merciful towards the Brahmanas, and he cannot at any time speak lies. Therefore, it is our duty to kill this Vamanadeva,
Whoa.
Lord Vishnu. It is our religious principle. What is that, you think? Dharma? It is
It's
our
their
dharma.
Yeah.
And the way to serve our master, Sukracharya, right?
Or Bali.
Or Bali, yes. After making this decision, the demoniac followers of Bali Maharaj took up their various weapons with a view to kill Vamanadeva.
Think that's gonna work?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I know he's small.
But he's also very big.
Very, very powerful. O king, when the associates of Lord Vishnu saw the soldiers of the demigods, no. O king, the demons, aggravated by their usual anger, took their lances and tridents in hand, and against the will of Bali Maharaj, they pushed forward to kill Lord
He's like,
Vamanadeva.
no.
Don't do it, don't do it. He's God.
They're like, we're gonna do it.
O king, with the associates of Lord Vishnu, when the associates of Lord Vishnu saw the soldiers of the demons coming forward in violence, they smiled. Taking up their weapons, they forbade the demons to continue their attempt.
They couldn't. There's no way they could stand up.
No.
These weren't the devas. These were like these higher beings. Okay.
They were the associates of the Lord Vishnu.
Yeah.
Nanda, Sunanda, Jai, Vijay, Prahlad,
Prabala.
I'm sorry. Bala, Kumuda, Kumadaksha, Vishvakshena, Patitrirat,
Who is Garuda?
who is also known as Garuda, Jayanta, Shrutadev, Pushpandanta, Satvata, were all associates of Lord Vishnu. They were all as powerful as 10,000 elephants. And now they began killing the soldiers of the demons.
They did not know who they were up against.
Wow. When Bali Maharaj saw that his own soldiers were being killed by the associates of Lord Vishnu, he remembered the curse of Sukracharya and forbade his soldiers to continue fighting.
What did he say? You're going to lose everything or something like that.
Yeah. Now he's calling them. Oh, Viprachiti. Oh, Rahu. Oh, Nimai. And Nemi. Please hear my words. Don't fight. Stop immediately, for the present time is not in our favor. O Daityas, by human efforts, no one can supersede the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who can bring happiness and distress to all living entities.
I was ready to hear that.
The supreme time factor, which represents the Supreme Person, was previously in our favor and not in favor of the demigods. But now that same time factor is against us. No one can surpass the time presentation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by material power, by the council of ministers, by intelligence, by diplomacy, by fortresses, by mystic mantras, by drugs, by herbs, or by any other means. No one can surpass the time representation of the personality of Godhead. Previously, being empowered by providence, you defeated a great number of such followers of Lord Vishnu. But today, those same followers, having defeated us, are roaring in jubilation like lions. Unless providence is in our favor, we shall not be able to gain victory. Therefore, we must wait for that favorable time when our defeating them will be possible.
And yeah, the commentators say that they just weren't really ready for the philosophical talk.
Yeah.
So he kind of like says, we'll do it later. Just cool down for now.
Sukadeva Goswami continued. O king, in accordance with the order of their master, Bali Maharaj, all the chiefs of the demons and the Daityas.
Yes.
What's the difference between the Daityas and the demons and the Daityas?
The demons and the Daityas. I don't know.
I thought the Daityas were the demons.
Well, I guess there's certain ones that are born in that lineage, and then there may be others that
people
are,
that joined.
Yeah, they're on the team, but they're not.
I joined
born-
later in life.
Wasn't born into it like that.
How do I get into your demon club? And so anyway, the demons and the Daityas entered the lower regions of the universe, right, to which they were driven by the soldiers of Lord Vishnu. Thereafter, on the day, I wish I had a better picture of what that must be like. Thereafter, on the day of the Somapana, after the sacrifice was finished, Garuda, king of the birds, understanding the desire of his master, arrested Bali Maharaj with ropes of Varuna.
Now this is interesting, right?
It's very interesting because Bali Maharaj surrendered everything. You think he's going to get some slack here?
You would think. He was kind of tricked in a sense, right? I'll give you whatever you want. Tell me how much you want. I just want 3 steps. Are you sure you don't want more?
But didn't
I'll
he
give you
him the
more.
3 steps after he realized it was God?
Whatever it was, he was ready to offer, and he said, "I'll just take 3 steps." And he's been saying he's going to take everything. He's like, "Anyway, I'm going to give him what I said." He said, "Take your 3 steps. Take what you want." And then he as predicted, he took everything that he had. Now, how can you hold it against him? And he gladly gave everything that he had, and somehow it still wasn't good enough. Because it's like, well, I have 1 more step and you don't have any more land. Then he arrests him. Now he says, okay, you're under arrest. So it sounds like Vishnu is being unfair, unreasonable. It sounds like this is a bit beyond what someone should be accepting towards. But Bali Maharaj is really going to set an example here. We just have to watch how he responds to everything now. And there's a lot of life lessons in this. Why don't you keep going a bit?
On a side squirrel note, Nityananda says Krishna saw that the one who stole the jewel, Prashena, was killed by a bear and followed the trail to a cave. Jambavan was so old that he was born before planet Earth existed. So
Okay.
this is no ordinary black bear.
Okay.
This is like a mystical time traveling beast.
Okay.
Beast in the good sense of the word. Okay. Thereafter.
Oh, you read that.
When Bali Maharaj was thus arrested by Lord Vishnu, who is the most powerful, there was a great roar of lamentation in all directions throughout the upper and lower planetary systems of the universe.
I'm not sure what that means. It's like all the demons were like, oh no, our man's just been arrested. Is it that everyone was feeling like, hold it, how is this fair? He's he's been so giving and he's being punished for it. I'm not sure exactly who's roaring with lamentation.
O king, the personality of Godhead, Vamanadeva, then spoke to Bali Maharaj, the most liberal and celebrated personality whom he had arrested with the ropes of Varuna. Bali Maharaj had lost all bodily luster, but he was nonetheless fixed in his determination. O king of the demons, you have promised to give me 3 steps of land, but I have occupied the entire universe with 2 steps. Now, think about where I should put my 3rd.
Kind of playing with him.
Yeah, like teasing him a little. As far as the sun and the moon shine with the stars, and as far as the clouds pour rain, all the land throughout the universe is in your possession. Of these possessions, with 1 step, I've occupied Burloka, and with my body I have occupied the entire sky in all directions. And in your presence with my 2nd step, I have occupied the upper planetary system. Because you have been unable to give charity according to your promise, the rule is that you should go down to live in the hellish planets. Therefore, in accordance with the order of Sukracharya, your spiritual master, now go down and live there.
Who wouldn't at this point say, this is unfair?
It's unfair.
I'm not being treated right.
I've done so much for you. Far from being elevated to the heavenly planets or fulfilling one's desires, one who does not properly give a beggar what he has promised falls down to a hellish condition of life. Take note of that, people.
Last verse.
Wow, last verse. All right. And just on time. Being falsely proud of your possessions, you promised to give me land, but you could not fulfill your promise. Therefore, because your promise was false, you must live for a few years in hellish life.
Oh.
That's the end of the chapter. That's a cliffhanger.
We'll come back and we'll really get into this.
Oh, but there's no class tomorrow.
No, we'll come back the day after.
The day's okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but we will come back, right?
We will come
We
back.
come back.
We're coming back.
That boat's gonna make it, right?
Yeah. We're thinking. Live from the boat. We're sinking.
Okay, but there'll be some very interesting lessons from Bali. This is how he becomes that Mahajan, like that. He's just counted as one of the top people in the universe.
Mm-hmm.
What he proves here, how he responds to this challenge, is something that if we take it in, it can change all of our lives. Come back for that.
Woo. Exciting.
Maraji?
All right, Mara. Now, I'm curious to know what Mara jotted down in her expert note-taking that we can bring with us for the rest of the day to brighten our dark day up.
I got a few goodies for you. Some people have penthouses of the planets.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You can't barge your way into higher planets. You've got to become qualified.
I've tried. It doesn't work out well.
The Ganga can't be contaminated. It's purely spiritual.
Yep. Oh, yes. That's in my book, Kaustubha.
Okay.
My first time I took a bath in the Ganga was in
Calcutta?
the sacred river, or the sacred place of Calcutta.
Nice.
Yep. Got in there, a bunch of old ladies bathing with their saris on, Brahmins chanting mantras, worshiping Ganesh. And I looked at the water, and there was a big horse, bear, something floating in the river. I was just like, am I supposed to do this? The person with me said, Bhakti Ray, the Ganga can never be contaminated.
There you go.
And I was like, all right, here we go. Going in. Push the bear over. Just got a stick. All right, Krishna. True story. Twice it happened. Different animal each time.
Sometimes outside irritants make life fragrant and beautiful.
Both with the oyster and with the aguru.
Oud.
Oud.
Aguru, yeah.
No one can surpass the time factor.
Yeah, well,
What's
not
that
in
from?
the material
I don't
world.
remember that. What was that about?
That's what
It was-
telling all of his followers.
Beware making.
There's no dancing bear in that verse, right? Not to capture your attention.
Beware making false promises and
And
crack the code of the bear people.
how
Ooh,
we
I
gonna
like
do that?
that. I knew it was going to be something with the bear people.
Okay.
And that's it. That's our show. Thanks for the live crew here today, Harry Ball. And thanks to everybody who joins us on Zoom every morning. You want to join Zoom? Email Miss Mara, wisdomsages108@gmail.com. We want to thank Road Rage, a.k.a. Matura Nanda from Split, Croatia, for making the new WOTS app. So you can, it's like a great index. So you can find out anything that we've ever done a show on, something that's stuck in your mind. Search for Q&A. Thank you so much. What a great contribution. Everybody go to the show notes, download that app, share it, and review it. And also, my son says subscribe. You got to subscribe. You're listening on YouTube. You got to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for everybody being so cool. It is satsang time. Beautiful day for a beautiful day. Let the magic continue to flow. We'll see you a day after tomorrow in a Maha Haribo.